Although North Carolina is over twice as far from Vermont as it is from Florida, surprisingly, it's still home to some great ski resorts worth your time, especially if you live in the Southeast or Mid-Atlantic regions. Today, I'm ranking the top 3 ski resorts in the state of North Carolina to help you decide which mountains to visit this skiing and snowboarding season. Starting off with the 3rd best resort in North Carolina was a tough decision because it's a tight comparison between the 5th, 4th, and 3rd best ski resorts in the state. But ultimately, I think Cataloochee Ski Resort deserves the 3rd spot. Cataloochee was the first ski area opened in North Carolina in 1961, and it has 50 skiable acres across 18 different trails, with a peak elevation at 5,400 feet above sea level. The skiing and snowboarding season is typically from early November to late March, with some seasons opening the slopes as early as late October. Its 18 slopes are rated as 44% for green, 39% for blue, and 17% for black diamond runs. Not to forget its 2 terrain parks and 1 glade trail, which makes it a really nice, well-rounded mountain in the region. In fact, its Wildcat Glade Trail may be on the shorter side, but it's also the only marked glade trail in all of North Carolina, which is definitely a unique aspect about this ski resort. Now, because this mountain's peak elevation is over 5,000 feet, you'll be surprised by the amount of snowfall they actually get for being in the southeast. On average, Cataloochee sees around 24 inches annually, and almost half of that comes in the month of January. So if you're planning a trip to Cataloochee, aim for that month. Now, 24 inches isn't that much, especially if you're used to snowier places in the Mid-Atlantic or Northeast. But they also have 100% snowmaking coverage, so even on the lighter, snowier years, all the trails should be covered and open. Another fun aspect to the trails here is there's a slope that's called the Meadows, and it only gets open when there's enough fresh snowfall for coverage because it's technically outside the mountain's skiable border. And unfortunately, this area wasn't open when I visited, but it could really be fun when it opens. There's 5 total lifts at Cataloochee, 2 quads, 1 triple, and 2 magic carpets. The 2 magic carpets and the triple chair only provide access to beginner terrain. The Rock Island quad goes about 3/4 of the way up the mountain, and the Oh My Gosh quad is the only access to the peak. This peak quad is an update that'll be new this season because last season the peak lift chair was only a double. Luckily, this smaller ski resort wasn't very crowded when I visited, but the increased lift capacity to the summit is definitely a positive upgrade. Cataloochee ski area has a fun and flowy feel to its slopes. Whether you're planning to stay on the steep trails, explore the park, or do a little bit of everything, Cat may be small, but it's a hidden oasis for skiing and snowboarding located this far south. One downside I noticed at Cat was some of the runs were pretty icy, specifically the ones along the right side of the map because they're in the shadow of the mountain, so just keep that in mind when you go riding here. The 2nd best ski resort in North Carolina goes to Sugar Mountain. This ski resort has 125 skiable acres, a max elevation of 5,300 feet, and a typical winter season here starts in the middle of November and lasts till late March. One of the best parts about Sugar Mountain is they put a lot of emphasis on making snow at every opportunity they get, which is a great way to get the slopes open, but can also create some low visibility days on the mountain. Last season, Sugar was the first ski resort to open in the entire Southeast and Mid-Atlantic regions, even opening up earlier than Snowshoe, which is crazy to think about. This can really lengthen your season without an expensive traveling trip to the Northeast or out west. Sugar has 20 total trails, and it keeps 14 of those trails open for night skiing as well. The trails are split up as having 8 green, 7 blue, and 4 black diamond slopes, which does include 2 double black diamond runs, but keep in mind those trails can be quite short-lived. Also, it's important to point out that there are no park or glade trails at this mountain, so if those trails are important for you, then you may want to choose another ski resort on this list. However, Sugar Mountain does have the highest vertical drop in North Carolina at 1,200 feet. The average annual snowfall is 52 inches, and they have 100% snowmaking coverage, which usually means as soon as the weather is cool enough, the slopes will start building up with snow. The longest run here is 1.5 miles long, which is really good for the southeast. And when you combine that with its vertical drop, Sugar can be a great mountain if you're looking to ride a lot of mileage. This ski resort has a total of 8 lifts, 1 high-speed 6-seater going to the summit, 2 high-speed quads, 1 regular quad, 2 double chairs, and 2 magic carpets. Something to note is the higher lift capacity to the summit here, and the fact that they have multiple high-speed lifts is unique for North Carolina. These lifts really help cut down wait times on busier days, and when I visited, I never had to wait more than a few minutes in any lift line. So the overall positives for visiting Sugar Mountain focus on it having lots of vert, longer slopes, and being able to ride multiple laps on the mountain throughout the day of riding. But the overall negatives include having 0 park trails, 0 glade trails, short double black diamond slopes at the top, and that the trails can seem repetitive. The repetitive nature comes from all the different trails converging together, which also increases congestion on those busier ski and snowboarding days. Not to forget, Sugar Mountain was having a higher incidence last season for having stolen gear. Hopefully the resort has done something to decrease that, but it's definitely something to keep in mind. And before I get to the best ski resort in North Carolina, I want to highlight a couple honorable mentions. Hatley Point is the newest ski resort in the state, with its first season being in the 24-25 ski and snowboarding season. In years past, it used to be called Wolf Ridge, but it's been closed down these last several years. So definitely check that mountain out. And I also want to mention Appalachian ski area as well. And although it's smaller than other mountains on this list, it's uniquely geared towards park riding. So if you want numerous park trails and features to lap over and over, or just a smaller, less crowded mountain, check out App. I'll link full mountain reviews of each of those options in the description of this video you can check out if you're interested. Now it's time to reveal the best ski resort in North Carolina, and that is obviously Beech Mountain. This ski resort has the highest elevation of any ski resort on the entire East Coast at 5,506 feet, which makes the weather here optimal for making and keeping a lot of quality snow. Beech has 95 skiable acres, a vertical drop of 830 feet, and 17 total trails. The trails are divided up as having 3 green, 7 blue, 4 black, and 3 park trails. So only a few beginner runs, with the rest of the mountain being for intermediate and advanced riders. Similarly to other ski resorts on this list, Beech has 100% snowmaking capabilities and 41 inches of annual snowfall. The ski season here typically lasts from mid-November to early March, and a unique aspect about Beech is its West Bowl Blue Trail that goes down a different side of the mountain, which both provides a unique feel and cuts out congestion on their main slopes. There are 9 total lifts at Beech, including 4 quad chairs, 2 doubles, 1 tow rope in the park, and 2 magic carpets. Now none of these lifts are high speed like at Sugar, but they all take riders to different areas on the mountain, and 2 quads go from the main base area to the summit, which really helps out on busier days. Some of the best parts of Beech Mountain is that it's very well rounded as a whole. With separate green runs, the beginners can learn and practice easily. And I really like how the mountain is laid out, allowing multiple different paths from summit to base, which allows for creativity and decreases overcrowding or repetitiveness. And there's also a couple of black diamond slopes from the peak to the base that allow for advanced riders to lap the more difficult terrain. But this mountain isn't perfect, and its downsides include having slower lifts, slightly shorter longest runs, and a vertical drop a little less than Sugar Mountain. But I will say, regardless of those stats, Beech feels so much more fun to ride as a whole, and that combined with it spreading out its slopes and having park trails makes it more of a complete mountain overall. Now I do want to say that some people think Sugar is best overall instead of Beech, but luckily they're not too far from one another, so you can easily ride at both mountains and decide for yourself. So what do you think of my list? Would you have chosen different mountains? Let me know in the comments. And if you're wanting a more direct comparison between Sugar and Beech, I made an entire video just about that you need to check out right here.